welcome to the second episode of my Get Up and Get Down of the Pallets video. So another stay-at-home skill drill, and today it's time to talk about how to lift the rear wheel. I have 3 different versions today. I would like to present and teach you about how you can lift the rear wheel of your mountain bike without clipless pedals. So as you can see, I am using flat pedals with good pins. I, of course, have my protective gear, so shin pads, knee pads, helmet, gloves, obviously, and I've checked that my bike is fully functional, so I'm ready to go. Just in case you haven't seen my last video, here's the movement that we are working towards today. So this maneuver is our final goal, and today is step 2, so the rear wheel lifts to this. Obviously, you can also use these rear wheel lifts for other situations on the trail. Here's rear wheel lift number 1. Number 1 is the classic or basic rear wheel lift. The movements are, you want to ride in a neutral stance, load the bike, and explode upwards. In order to not float off your pedals, in the moment you're exploding, so extending your legs upwards, you want to kind of build body tension between your handlebars and your feet. This is how it looks. So what I'm doing is I'm loading my bike over my feet, dynamically preloading, either if I have a suspension, then my suspension, my fork. If I am riding a rigid or a hardtail, then I'm loading the tires. This is also like if you're jumping on a trampoline, you wouldn't jump like this. You would also load and jump. So it's a very natural movement, just trust yourself. Then once I've loaded the bike, the moment my suspension is unloading, I want to explode upwards. And in order to not hop off the pedals, what I want to do is I want to point my toes down and I want to press a little bit against the handlebar. So I'm creating a nice little body tension between my handlebars and my feet. And this way I'm not losing the pedals. Practice this first. So this is the first step, because I really want you to get that body tension dialed and to keep your feet on the pedals all the time. And then once you've got this dialed, so I'm talking 10 out of 10, then the next step is to add a little claw. So you can lift your rear wheel higher, you can take your bike up into yourself, so you can suck it up. And you do this same thing, load, explode, and then claw. So kicking your feet back a little bit, and then you can get that rear wheel higher. Important, of course you cover the brakes, but please do not pull the brakes during any of these maneuvers. So you've seen, once I load, explode, and then claw, I can get my rear wheel a lot higher. And this is also what you will need once you want to get up to obstacles like what I showed in the beginning of the video. And here's option number 3 to lift your rear wheel. The first 2, which I showed you a second ago, involve dynamic and bigger body movements. This one involves more modulation with the brakes, so fine coordination and body tension, but smaller body movements. And the third version is that you can lift your rear wheel with the aid of your front brake. With me, the front brake is on the left. You check if your front brake is fully functional and on which side it is, and if it's easy to modulate. So what you want to check is if you can really modulate your brake. So you see what I'm doing? I'm pulling my front brake, letting my rear wheel rise, getting the pedal out of the way, and now I'm trying to keep my rear wheel on one height. If you're doing this, then you know you're not in control of your front brake. So you really want to get that dialed first, the control of your front brake to keep your rear on the same height. Once you've practiced that, the next step is to really get used to using that front brake. So you want to brake to full halts a few times, only using your front brake. Start it as small, so at a slow speed and on grippy floor, and then really get used to only using your front brake and trusting it without blocking it completely, because you still want to have that little rolling motion going on, okay? The next step is then to add a little unweighting. So you know the tension we had in the exercises before between my handlebar and between my feet? I want to have that also with a slight unweighting while I am pulling my brake. Here's how that looks. So you see, we're not aiming at huge rear wheel lifts, we're just aiming for that body tension going on and tiny rear wheel lifts with the aid of your front brake. The movement is low. The moment I'm braking, I extend and really build that body tension between my handlebars and between my pedals. And if you want to add a sideways motion to your rear wheel, then watch my tutorial about nose manual or nose pivot turns. I will link it below in the description. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, then click subscribe, share it, because sharing is caring. And I hope to see you again for my next video. Goodbye.